Hi guys, Scott Woodward with you to talk about the Melbourne Storm's chances in 2012, and of course they were last year's minor premiers, and just an incredible performance last year to finish minor premiers given the circumstances surrounding the year and the personnel that they had in such a skinny bench that they have. During the off-season, they've lost one of their best forwards, Adam Blair, but they certainly do get back Ryan Hoffman, who's been a star for them for quite a few years and just had a stint over in the UK. And like a lot of people may disagree with this, but I think Ryan Hoffman is very, very important to their team. He was pivotal when they won the grand final a couple of seasons back. I'm calling it a grand final anyway. He can make breaks. He's a very good defender, and he plays to coach's instructions. So he will take care of that left side edge, and I think he's a massive in for the Melbourne Storm. We're going to talk about the forwards in a second, but let me just go through the team that I think will take the field. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's a big reliance on Billy Slater, and will he come back okay after his fractured collarbone in several places? My information from the camp is that it's been a very, very successful operation. Billy's very happy, doesn't have any problems at all. Certainly from a mental point of view, it's as good as gold, and he doesn't see any problem. So that's great news if you're a Melbourne Storm fan. Billy Slater to come back just as good as ever is what they need. He's certainly irreplaceable in that side. What a wonderful fullback he is. So that's Billy Slater at one. The very promising Matt Duffie will take one of the wing positions from Justin O'Neill. They're pretty set in stone, you would think, but there's a lot of depth there. Anthony Quinn's in the wings. Sisa Waqa is also in the wings there. They can come on, and they're genuine first graders. So they have got a little bit of depth in the wings. The centres will be Maurice, Blair and Dane Nielson, both very good centres, both quite capable of representing. And Maurice Blair was a big surprise last year. He's very, very good in defence, very strong, but he's deceptively fast, and he can make breaks, and he has got ball skills, and out of pinch can play in the halves and also play lock. Very, very handy player to have in your side, Maurice Blair. Got a couple of promising young guys in their juniors that can also come up and play in those positions. None more promising than Fonua. Looking forward to seeing him get a run, perhaps during State of Origin time during 2012. Gareth Widdop, very exciting pommy, went terrific in the Four Nations. I thought would have liked to see him have more game time, but he just looks like he'll get better and better. Like to see him be a little bit better in defence. I think that will continue to improve under Coach Bellamy. But Bryan off the mark, got great lightning speed and reads the play very well. And I liked when he actually came on a couple of times and played halfback when Cronk wasn't available, and the fact and the maturity that he showed, I thought it was outstanding. And he's a very important part of their cog. Of course, Cronk, the way he talks and the way he controls this team is crucial to how the Melbourne Storm goes. What Cooper says goes, and they need him there talking and chomping at the forwards. Very, very important. And as a matter of fact, he's probably the most important player in the side. Not the best player, but probably the most important player. The forwards, we talk about Jesse Bromwich a fair bit. 2012 is going to be his year to stand up. This is going to be his year to put representative tag on the back of his forehead. He could be anything. He's big, mobile, strong, and I think you'll find that he'll end up playing a lot more minutes this year. The Storm are very skinny in forwards. If I have to find a negative with them, that would be it. They're skinny in terms of class forwards. They've got plenty of forwards, but not what I would call class forwards. Not somebody who I'd say that guy can play State of Origin. So they're very, very skinny in that area. They've got a lot of what I call journeymen who will play in the forwards. One of them will probably start, Jason Ryles, who's transferred from the Roosters. I think Jason Ryles has been way past his best for many years, but he will play the robotic style of a forward that Craig Bellamy likes, and I think he'll fit very well into the side, and he'll just hit the ball up, play the ball quickly. He won't try and do anything flash. He won't try and bust tackles. He won't try and offload. He'll just hit it up, play the ball fast, hit it up, play the ball fast. That's what Craig Bellamy likes in his forwards. Not a lot of offloads. in a Craig Bellamy coach side. So, I think he'll be one of the starting props with Jesse Bromwich. I think Bryan Norrie could alternate there, or he'll come off the bench, and we'll talk about the bench in a fair bit. The Storm are very strong in the back row. Ryan Hoffman, Kevin Proctor look like they'll pin those two positions down, and if they start in every game, the Storm will always be a threat. Both very, very good and dangerous players. Sika Manu, Sika Manu obviously can play up front, but I think the coach would like him to play like forward. It would allow him to play a lot more minutes if he can do that, and give him the opportunity to go on both sides of the field, rather than him just be stuck and just doing the hard yakka as a prop forward. So I know Craig Bellamy will probably use Sika Manu from time to time as a front rower, but I'm sure that he'd much rather him have the number 13 on his back and play the lock forward position for most of the season. Certainly when he does come off, or if he's going to move up, Ryan Hinchcliffe can come in and play the lock forward position any time. But Hinchcliffe lacks a bit of size, and he can't do what Manu can do on the field. And if I was a coach, I'd much rather have Ryan Hinchcliffe on the field than Sika Manu. But Ryan Hinchcliffe is a very, very useful guy to have off the bench, because he can play a number of positions, and when he comes on the field, you know that he can make an impact. Very, very handy. Some of the journeymen that the Storm have got, and this is one of the reasons why I didn't like them last year. They went wonderfully well to be minor premiers, but they were always going to be stuck when the big games come on in the semi-finals, when they had so many journeymen on the bench. And we've already talked about Jason Ryles. They've also got Todd, Lowrie, Jaiman, Lowe and Michael Greenfield. That's a lot of journeymen to be having in your 17, and that's what the Storm have got at the moment. So they need to find some young blood from the juniors, and they've certainly got some guys there that can come through. Really looking forward to seeing how guys like Ken Bromwich goes, who's obviously the younger brother of Jesse, Mitch, Garbutt and Luke Berkrey. I think those guys have got a future, and looking forward to seeing if they get a run at some stage during the year. Rory Kostjasyn is versatile. He can come on and play in several positions. He'll make an impact when he comes on. So, look, it's not a bad-looking bench, but the biggest problem for the Storm is the same problem that they had last year. They lack depth if they get any injuries, and State of Origin is going to take its toll for them. They got through last year undefeated in the State of Origin, and they virtually have to do that again. Crucial to their chances of winning the grand final, in my opinion, is to finish in the top 4 so that they can get a home semi, and which will virtually give them a walk-up start to going ahead and play in a game to get into the grand final. They got knocked out by New Zealand last year, mainly because of lack of depth. But they may have the same problem again. But I don't think they can play 4 games in a row away from home. So they need to have at least 1, maybe 2 semis in Melbourne in 2012 if they want to go all the way. The key to that is to get to the State of Origin without injuries and trying to get at least 1 win, if not 2 wins, during the State of Origin, and not have too many injuries to their crucial spine, their big 3. They need to keep them intact. They just got back from a 4 Nations tour. There's going to be the All-Stars game. There's going to be a test match between New Zealand and, of course, the State of Origin. And those guys that I talked about, Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk and Cameron Smith, will be first up selections in all those games. And that's going to be the big key to the Melbourne Storm. No great science in working that out, but that's just how it is. One of the biggest things they've got going for them, and perhaps the most important person in the Storm camp, is their wonderful coach, Craig Bellamy. He certainly is as good a coach as I've ever seen. He has a win record at the Melbourne Storm of 67.51, and that is just incredible. You don't get any better than that. He's been there since 2003, and if they've got any sense, they'll sign him for life. He's just as good a coach as there is, and he just seems to get better and better and better. He's just a wonderful communicator, never leaves a stone unturned, and there's one thing for sure, I never bet against the Craig Bellamy coach side, because they don't give you too many chances. They just do everything right. 2012 was very similar to what they've done, and every year since Craig Bellamy has coached them, they make They average under 10 errors in every game, which is just an incredible effort. I think St George are the only other team that comes close to that. And they were number one for the least amount of missed tackles, and they were number one for tries conceded. And when you're number one in those areas, you're going to win just about every game you play, and you're going to finish in the top four. And I think the Melbourne Storm have got a great chance to do that again. And if they get in the top four and they get a couple of home semis in Melbourne, they'll have a great chance to go all the way in 2012. Good luck if you're a Storm supporter. Should be another great year.